Join the Music Universe podcast for this special social media extra from CRS 2021.
We're with Jason Charles Miller, and he is giving us a tour of his Zoom, Twitch, live streaming setup. I absolutely have loved seeing what artists have been doing for their setups since the pandemic started. Of course,
I got three more guitars right off screen too, so
I love
I'm ready
that.
to go.
Of course, this is Matt Bailey, and Buddy, we're here at CRS. Jason, your album is coming out March 26th. Jason Charles Miller, From the Wreckage, Part 1. Tell us about that.
Part 2 is already ready to go. Look, over this past year, everything's been filled with uncertainty, right? I was actually supposed to get on a plane March 25th of 2020 to do a UK tour with Bob Wayne. And, as every day was ticking by, we were seeing more and more things shut down, more and more things cancel. And that's kind of been the story for most musicians' lives here in the past year. And so what I thought about doing was I had been working on a new album, but my last album, In the Wasteland, I had written 45 songs for that album and recorded like at least 30 of them. And it's only an 11-song album. And there are so many songs from that era that I really believed in and wanted people to hear, but maybe I played it for my A&R guy on a day that he was in a bad mood or something. So it didn't make the album, Well, now that I have my own label and call my own shots, what I'm doing is I'm putting out a combination of songs from the last album that I passionately believe in, that I want people to hear, and then new recordings and covers that I love. And I wanted to split it into 2 parts because, when I decided to put part 1 out in March, I figured, by October, part 2, I can put that out in October and we'll be touring on it again. Now, who knows? Mm-hmm. We're optimistic that we can tour by October, but no one knows. So I'm just putting out music that I love and believe in and want people to hear and represent me solidly as an artist, and collaborations that people haven't heard before, and new collaborations as well.
Well, I will say, Jason, I've listened to the 7 songs on this EP, and man, it's throwback Southern rock. It seems like that sound is really coming back because so many artists that might be new to us, might be new to our audience, but whoever, it seems like that sound is being revived more than it has as we almost feels like we're getting past that pro country sound and getting back to rootsy, damn good music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. First of all, it's never gone away from me, right? And I mean, look, I'll be frank with you guys. I've never fit into the mainstream country radio format. Like, my stuff never really has. I tried as much as I could to sort of push it in that direction. But then I just decided, you know what, I just got to be myself, because if mainstream Nashville radio will never embrace me, then like, why am I trying to appease myself, right? Like, let's just be me, authentically me. And ever since I made the decision to do that, it's not only has it been freeing, but it's also opened doors that I never expected would open. So I would encourage everybody to do that, because what I think has happened is that the audience is finally getting their own voice, right? Whereas things had been controlled for so long. Well, now there's so many opportunities to get your music to the audience, and then for them to get that back to their friends, that it has kind of turned everything on its head, and I love that. And it's absolutely no disrespect to the establishment, but I just I like that there's more options now.
Right. I totally agree. I like a variety of music too, but when it's, to me, all organic, or I'll say 90% organic, and you have real people performing real instruments. I've always been an advocate for that. Maybe that's because I'm a drummer and I know I can be replaced by a machine easier than guitars. I don't know, but it's just that authentic sound, and you've got that vibe going. And Better Late Than Never is your latest single. It came out in mid-November. In fact, Matt and I were in Nashville the day that came out on November 20th. And tell us about the song as well.
Yeah, so I wrote that with Jonathan Tyler, who you would know probably from Jonathan Tyler and the Northern Lights, and he's also in Nikki Lane's band. He was living in LA for 1 year a few years ago, and we met at a club called Loaded that Shooter Jennings had a residency at. And there was one night when Shooter couldn't do it, and Ted Russell Camp, his bass player, asked me if I could fill in. And so I filled in, met Jonathan that night. We hit it off. We wrote this song a couple of days later. And it is basically about getting ghosted, which I think everyone can relate to in one way or another. It's about a relationship that's already long over, but you just want to know why. The listener just wants to know, hey, look, I know that we're not getting back together, but I just want to know why it fell apart. Like, give me a reason. And so I felt like that was something everyone could relate to. Better late than never. You know what? Like, it's better for you to tell me after the fact so that I can learn from this rather than me never know.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I know you said now you get to call the shots, but what is it like to actually be able to do that now rather than take somebody else's advice, or not necessarily the advice, but them telling you what you can and can't do as far as a musician goes?
Well, I mean, look, all the onus is on me, right? And all the responsibility is on me. And yeah, and I mean, I still have a great team around me that I can get opinions from and do a sounding board, but ultimately the final call is mine. And so that that can be as scary as it can be freeing. So what it's like is that I have a lot less free time, for all the, just for organizational purposes. But I don't mind because, especially now, it's like I would rather be working on something that that I can control, that is for my own benefit, than to be sitting around waiting for someone to set a release date for me, or tell me when I'm going to go on tour, or tell me what single I'm going to put out. I just make the decisions and go for it. And in this time of uncertainty, I suppose it's a little bit of sanity that keeps me from going crazy.
I think we need music to keep us from going crazy. And on that note, Jason, I have something I want to ask you, but we're going to do this a little differently. I want you to talk about your socials, kind of get your last word in there on anything we didn't mention. Buddy, do you have any last questions before we give him the last word? And then we have something else we want to talk to you about after this. You'll see in a minute.
Cool.
There's logic here. Buddy, any last questions before he plugs his socials?
Talking about staying busy and your setup, you said you host 3 Twitch shows a week. Can you tell us a little bit about those for those unaware?
Yeah. Okay. So I stream on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Twitch has been around for about 5 years or so now, maybe 6. But musicians have been jumping on it this pandemic. Someone asked me the other day, they're like, how's your pandemic been? I'm like, that's an interesting way to put it, but okay. But yeah, in the last year, musicians have been jumping on it like never before, and now they have a whole music department. And basically, it's just, there's already a community there of people. It started as it started centering around video games, and now it just does so much more. But so on Monday nights at 7 Pacific, I host a show called Miller's Music Mondays, and I have a guest every week, and we go back and forth like a Nashville songwriter round. So I'll start the show by playing a song, then I'll bring my guest on. We talk a little bit. They play their first song. We talk a little bit more. I play my second song, etc. for about an hour. Then on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific on the CNE Games channel, I host a songwriting show. And CNE is short for Codename Entertainment, and Codename Entertainment puts out a video game called Idle Champions, which licenses characters from Dungeons and Dragons. So every week we pick a different character from the game, and my co-host Dylan and I write a song while people watch and participate. So if you're in chat, you can give us lyrical ideas, you can give us suggestions for notes, for melody. It's mainly lyrics because the audience of the game tends to know the characters even better than we do, and therefore in 2 hours we've got a completed song, and we've done 24 episodes already, and it's really, really fun, and it's a good way for people to just learn about the songwriting process and how it works. We pick a different genre of music every week. It's really neat.
Oh, that is awesome.
I love that. So before we go here, we want to put you on the spot.
Okay.
We want to put you on the spot because you made the mistake of telling us that you have a bunch of guitars just off the side. Okay. So if you're cool with it, can we get a little bit of Better Late Than Never?
Oh, you got it. Yeah. And what the thing is, though, I usually play on this guitar that's on screen. So I'll pull this one down and I'll put up one that you haven't seen yet.
I love it.
The one I really want to show you is hold on. I might be off camera for 1 second because this is the one I want to show you because it's really nice.
We can see your ring light and your entire setup reflecting in the shiny back of that guitar. That is awesome.
Oh, yeah. You can see the ring light.
Oh, that is cool.
Favorite friend. Yeah, so this one is you can see my monitor now. This one's by Takamine, and it's the thermal top, and it's not tuned to the proper tuning for this song, or I would play that one, but I helped design this color. I'm endorsed by Takamine and ESP made this guitar before they stopped making acoustics because they partnered with Takamine. But anyway, I helped design this color, and you can now get it, in they added it to their arsenal. That's the TT series, and the color's called Molasses.
I love that. I have to ask though, since you say Takamine, do you have a GB7C?
I don't. I've got a P3. I've got this TT340. I've got.
That's so cool.
And then I've got a few more at the recording studio too. So I have the Garth Brooks one, the all black with the white edging and stuff. So, but I don't have that one. But I got a lot. And then they're definitely my favorite acoustics. But I have a couple Martins, and I mean, look, we're guitar players, right? This is we just collect these things when we can.
I was up to 4 drum kits at one point, got down to 0, now I'm back to 3. So I know what that's like.
Totally. And I'm sure your neighbors do too, right?
Well, thankfully, I play the electronic here. I keep the good, expensive kit in cases.
Fair enough. Would you like me to do the whole song, or what?
You can do verse, chorus, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you comfortable. Acoustic. I know we put you on the spot, and I think your rep specifically asked, "Are you going to make him sing?" And I'm like, "No," but we didn't realize your stuff was right there. So whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing the whole thing if you don't.
Please, you're our last interview for CRS, so take us out.
All right, here we go. Better late than never. Oh, the last thing, though, I wanted to say is there was one more show I forgot to say. Wednesday nights, I do what's called Whatever You Want Wednesdays, and it's an all-request show. It's at 8:00 p.m. on my Twitch channel, and I have a list. Right now, my list is up to 154 songs that I know, covers and originals, and any song that's on my list, you can just request it, and we throw it in the queue. So that's kind of fun, too.
Go ahead, real quick, to give us your socials. Tell people where they can find you, and then we'll have you play us out.
Great. So on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, I'm at Jason Charles Miller. On Twitter, I'm at Jason C. Miller because my name's too long. for Twitter's ID tag or whatever. But basically, if you type in Jason Charles Miller in any of the major socials, you'll find me. You'll find me there.
Awesome.
The challenge is remembering my name. That's the thing. So, all right, here we go. Don't have to ask what shape I'm in. One look at my face to tell you where I've been. Memories full of grief. One day soon I'll find relief. Gonna carry this load till the day I die. Till look my maker in the eye. Say, hey man, what you trying to do? It's just one thing I've asked you. Give me a sign. Something would be better than nothing. It's been a long, long time, but it's better late than never. I give you my love, give you my pain, but I never thought that you were gonna walk away. And all that time I can never get back. When I got home, your bags were packed. You slipped down without a word. Now I can't believe the things I've heard. Can't stop thinking about the way things were. I never saw it coming, everything's a blur. Give me a sign. Something would be better than nothing. It's been a long, long time, but it's better late than never. Yeah, it's better late than never. Oh, it's better late than never. If I had my way, I'd leave this town. It's hard to show my face now that you're not around. But here I stand, just trying to find a clue to the mystery of what happened to me and you. Give me a sign. Something would be better than nothing. Oh, yeah. It's been a long, long time, but it's better late than never. Yeah, it's better late than never. Oh, it's better late than never. Yeah, it's better late than never. Oh, it's better late than never. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That was awesome, and better
Good.
late than never. Our first CRS. We haven't been here. We've been since it's 8 years old. This is our first CRS. So a song called "Better Late Than Never" is the perfect way to end this. Jason Charles Miller, thank you so much.
Yeah, no, perfect. And hopefully next year we'll see each other in person, right?
I hope so too.